Hey BL lovers, it's me, Ultimate Fujoshi, back again with another video. Today, we're not here to fangirl over amazing BL manhwas. Nope, we're diving into the dark side. The BL manhwas have officially dropped in 2025. Let's be real, not every story is a hit. Some plots are weird, some characters make you want to throw your phone, and some are just traumatizing. No offense to anyone, especially the creators, because they work hard to give us these stories. But some of them just didn't vibe with me. Okay, before we jump in, let me know in the comments, what's the one BL manhwa you've had to drop? Whether it was the art, the plot, or just straight up bad lines. I want to hear your stories. Alright, let's spill the tea. Let's get the most obvious one out of the way. Manhwa number 1 that I'm dropping this 2025 is Jinx. If you read this, you already know. Even if you haven't read this, you already know. JJ is trash. No further comments. Moving on to Manhwa number 2, Payback. Payback had so much potential, at least I thought it did. But then they had to go and make the main couple's story so disturbing. Fall in love with someone who raped you in the past. Nah, come on. That trope is so outdated. And it genuinely makes my skin crawl. Every time the story tried to make it romantic, I felt like screaming. This one was an instant drop for me. Okay, before anyone that has actually read the manhwa comes at me, I must confess, I did not finish reading it. And I was not reading the manhwa properly. I wasn't reading it the right way. I would skip chapters because it felt like it was going on and on and on. But I know the main character, who is the bottom of the story, he kept getting flashbacks to that one person that raped him in a costume whenever he was with the main lead. And that was just weird. It was an instant drop for me. Manhwa number 3 that I will not be reading in 2025 is Stigma. Stigma is an Omegaverse BL manhwa. So I genuinely thought I was going to like it. I picked it up immediately it was released and I kept following up the episodes. But where do I even start? First off, the art style was so gloomy. It felt like the pages were sucking the life out of me. Everything is kind of dark. And at first I didn't mind because even though the art style was gloomy, the characters were still quite attractive. The art was still beautiful. But what got to me was the characters themselves. The miscommunication between the leads is so irritating. It's aggravating. The main character is actually dumb, and you won't believe it, but the main love interest is dumber than the main character. It's so irritating to watch. And there's a bit of a love triangle, not a love triangle per se, but a love angle. Yes. And I'm not a major fan of that trope, so I just could not continue. I did not see a reason to continue. Didn't even make it halfway through before giving up on the manhwa. Manhwa number 4 that I will be dropping is Written in the Stars. This one was rough. It's another Omegaverse story as well that I expected to fall in love with, but it was the exact opposite. It's an established fact in the early chapters of the story that the main Omega is being abused physically. Now the question is, who is abusing this person? Because even though he's an Omega, he's a dominant Omega, which is something that is looked at with envy in their world setting. And he's also insanely rich. So who is beating him up? It's revealed later that it's actually his grandpa that is beating him up, leaving scars on his body almost every single time. the grandpa is just this controlling psychopath. The fact that his grandpa was the one abusing him was so hard for me to take in because that's so insane. And later, I think this was towards the end of season 1. I'm not sure because it's been some months since I read this, but it was insinuated that the grandpa was also trafficking him sexually. Once that was insinuated, I just dropped the manhwa completely. I said no. I was not going to risk my mental health to figure out if that was actually true. Another thing I did not like about the manhwa was the slow burn between the main couple, because there's a side couple and they are really cute, but the main couple was just difficult. Their romance was painfully slow, and it was so ridiculous because both characters are aware that the other person has deep feelings for them, but they refuse to act on it. I love a good slow burn, a good build up, but this was absolutely ridiculous. I gave up before I even got the chance to see if they would date. Manhwa number 5 that I will not read in 2025 is Dog and Bird. This one is just yikes. The entire plot revolves around rape. That's it. That's the entire story. Rape and sexual assault. Dark themes don't really go well with me, so I just dropped this immediately. Sweet Not Sugar is the next manhwa that I will not read in 2025. This one hurts because I really liked it at first. The story was cute, the characters were adorable, and I was totally invested. But then they changed the art style and it completely threw me off. Don't get me wrong, the new art style isn't bad, but it's so different from what I fell in love with. It felt like I was reading about strangers pretending to be the characters I liked. I just could not connect with the story anymore. Senza Replica is also another manhwa I will not read in 2025. This one made me sad in all the wrong ways. It's a guide-verse setting. So there's a guide and his partner is the esper. The guide in this particular manhwa gets manipulated by his esper every single time, and it's just exhausting to read. On top of that, the guide is literally failing school because his esper has a crush on him. Like, how is that even a thing? Every chapter felt like a frustrating fever dream. Guiding Light. Next, we're talking about Guiding Light. I gave this manhwa so many chances. So many chances. But I still have no idea what the plot is. Guiding Light is also another guide-verse manhwa. But it's not exactly the same as the other guide-verse manhwas because a regular guide-verse manhwa, the espers are fighting monsters and the guides are there to support the espers. But in this particular manhwa, there are no monsters. They are in some kind of post-apocalyptic Earth, and it's just basically espers fighting other espers. But I don't know why. I have read so many chapters of this manhwa, but I still do not understand what the plot is about. Every time I thought I was about to understand the story, I just didn't. At this point, I'm done trying to figure it out. The next manhwa I want to talk about is How to Be the Chosen One. This one is a complete disaster. The art is so pretty. I love the way colors are used in this manhwa. It's captivating to see. But there are just some things I could not turn a blind eye to. There's this particular thing that's really triggered me. It's where the main character is getting raped, basically, by a priest who is also a main character. And the main character, the MC, while this crime is being committed, was saying to himself in his head that it's just worship, that he's not being violated, that it's worship and this is what he likes. So basically he was being assaulted and he was gaslighting himself into thinking that he was okay with it. What? And another thing that's really got to me was the random hookups in the manhwa. I'm down for some fun and casual sex here and there. But for God's sake, do STDs not exist in this fantasy world? Because every time he slept with a new random stranger, I was low-key panicking. Okay, that's it for my list of BL manhwas I've officially dropped in 2025. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm still super hyped for all the amazing stories waiting for me this year, especially Swallow You Whole. One of the viewers recommended that for me, and I cannot wait to get into it. But I just know that not every manhwa is going to be a hit, and that's okay. We all have our preferences. Just because I do not like the manhwas on this list doesn't mean that they are not good stories or that other people will not love them. So what about you? Have you ever dropped a manhwa because it just wasn't working for you? Or maybe there was one on my list that is actually one of your top faves. Let me know in the comments. I'm curious to hear your hot takes. Don't forget to like this video, share with your fellow BL fans, and hit that subscribe button for more tea, recommendations, and fangirl moments. Here's to hoping my dropped list won't be as long next year. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!